Hi there, Danny from GDL Automotive Services. I have with me today Brad Adams from the HR department. He's a HR specialist and he's going to talk to us about a couple of things relating to motor vehicles and motor vehicle expenses relating to your employment. So Brad, I guess what are the options if someone is an employee using their motor vehicle for work?
Yeah, okay. So a lot of roles do need a motor vehicle, and the employee needs to provide their own vehicle. So anytime they're using their vehicle for work-related purposes, then the employer should be reimbursing them at the current ATO rate, which at the moment is 68 cents for each kilometre they travel. So that relates to travel outside of the office, so trips away from the office. It typically doesn't cover the trip from home to work and then return. There's a couple of exceptions though, so it depends on what they're carrying and what they're using their vehicle for.
Right.
So if they're a tradie with ladders and heavy tools and things like that, then the employer can pay the employee for the home to office travel plus any other things that they do through the course of the day. So it really depends on the current situation.
Right. So is there a scenario where a employee as an individual would be required to use his motor vehicle and then claim that use at tax time on his personal tax return, or her?
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can do it. One is the employer reimburses them. But secondly, if you do use your vehicle for work, then you can then still add it onto your tax return and claim the expense there. Either way, you need to justify the actual kilometres you've done. So even if your employer pays, you still need to justify that on your tax return, because the kilometre payment actually goes on your assessable income. It's not charged tax at that point, but it will be if you don't justify those kilometres.
Sure. Okay, and another one that comes up quite regularly, and there's a bit of a curveball because I probably haven't warned you this question is coming.
Question without notice.
That's it.
Go ahead.
So traditionally tradesmen, but not always, maybe work Christmas parties or whatever, if there's alcohol involved and an employer has provided alcohol at the work site, what are the legalities around an employee then driving home under the influence of alcohol?
Well, first of all, if an employer is going to serve alcohol at an event, then they must make arrangements, either monitor what people are drinking or arrange alternate travel for them. The taxi fare home is actually a tax deduction. Maybe the alcohol they drank, the event's not, but the taxi fare home is. So the employer has an obligation to make sure the worker gets home safely.
Right. So if hypothetical scenario that someone doesn't take the taxi and then goes home, is the employer liable for that, or is that the employee's responsibility?
Yeah, that's a really grey murky area, but I think best practice would be for the employer not to put themselves in that situation and monitor what people are drinking, and then suggest that they take a taxi home or check that they have alternate ways of getting home. Under no circumstances should an employer just go their choice.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Always. All right. Well, thank you, Brad. There's Brad from the HR department. If you have any HR needs, we use and highly recommend Brad and his services. Thanks. That's Danny from GDL Automotive.
Thanks.